Hi, Chloe.
Hi, John.
How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me.
All right, so everybody has to know, like, besides her being really cute and representing us really well on television around a whole bunch of flesh eaters, she has a new restaurant in Miami called Chef Chloe. So if you happen to go down there in Miami, you got to find it. You have to support it. There's a lot going on in Miami. We do Seed Miami every late October or early November. How you been?
Good, good. Yeah, this will be my first year at Seed. I heard it's amazing.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's really high class.
Thousands of vegan dishes.
10,000 people show up, and everything is vegan. There's no vegetarian anything, except
crazy.
some of the people. So I had to get up. I got the book delivered, and this week was Expo West, Natural Food Expo West. And so I got up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I said, well, let me just go through Chloe's book. So I read the entire book, which was crazy, because it took me like an hour and 20 minutes, because I kept stopping going, that's my recipe, she stole it. I kept going, I got that in my cupboard. Your books are really, really easy to follow.
Yes, all the recipes are really easy. I test the recipes like billions of times to make sure they were as easy to follow as possible.
Well, I told you I was going to say this. In the book, you speak of your boyfriend. You're reading the book and it says Ben, and it says Ben, and I know Michael Jackson had a rat named Ben, but Ben, and I said, are you still with your boyfriend? She said, yeah, because if you break up with him, he got a book.
Yeah, yeah, it's all locked in stone.
All right, so tell me about Ben and you feeding Ben.
So Ben is my boyfriend of a few years. He's really hungry all the time. Yeah, can't ever feed him enough, so...
No, talk about food. Talk about food.
So basically, yeah.
That joke is on the back, ladies and gentlemen. It's on the wall. You'll catch it on the way out.
Yeah, all the recipes are just recipes that I put together that I love to cook for my family and friends and Ben, and yeah, most of them have been tested on dinner party scenarios where I've just had people over, done a ton of recipe testing, gotten great feedback of what people like and what people don't like. So I'm really excited for people to try these recipes in their own homes and show their friends and family how delicious and satisfying vegan food can be.
Yeah, and I see when I was in the book, and there's breakfast, because breakfast is a big thing.
Yeah.
Everybody, this is a picture of Ben, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, this is a picture of Ben, and she said Ben he's not a pancake dude, he's a waffle guy.
Yeah.
And so you made the waffles, which I love waffles. But every time somebody tells you they're vegan waffles, they taste like cardboard with maple syrup.
Oh, no, what?
Yeah, not yours. Because I read it and I was like, I might have to make that. I'm stealing all of this.
You should make this waffle recipe. Honestly, it's so good, the waffles. But make sure when you get a waffle iron that you get a Belgian waffle iron.
Right.
I made a mistake. At first I bought one and they were thin, Eggo style, but it was because the waffle maker. So you have to buy the ones with a nice thick cavity, so you get that big, fluffy, crunchy waffle. And then you can't go wrong.
That's good. Okay, and then it's so funny because you talk about the McVegan breakfast sandwich.
Yeah.
And you don't mention tofu as tofu scramble. You just literally, it's our egg.
Yeah. No, that's a great breakfast sandwich. I don't know, does anyone here like breakfast sandwiches? I feel like they're having a moment in the non-vegan world. Everything's all about breakfast sandwiches now, especially in fast food places. But yeah, it's super easy to make it vegan and definitely a better start to your day.
I know what to ask. All right, so we have some slides. You guys ready? We got some slides, and the first slide is one of something that you can take everywhere, and this is the artichoke garlic bread. And I made a joke today that a lot of black folks don't eat artichokes, but we don't. But and some white folks. It's not like you're gonna find it at my mama's house. You give me that artichoke, it's just not gonna happen. But this looks very tasty. And you said something in the book that's great too. You said you have fresh herbs and dry herbs, and you can use them at both times.
Yeah. No, this is great because a lot of times with garlic bread, you really want to slather like butter on, like that's the main ingredient. But by pureeing some artichokes, you can use like bottled, canned, jarred, frozen, any kind of artichoke. It makes this like creamy texture, and when you season it properly with the herbs and the salt, and then slather it on bread, it's really good.
Doesn't she sound like you hungry right now? It's like, oh. Like my mouth was watering from that. That's like, all right, the next one is pesto pasta. That looks. So you cook the pasta till al dente, and then?
You really did read the book.
I did. I read everything. I read it because right, I want my wife to think that I thought of all of this.
Yeah, this is super easy. I think I call it like 5-ingredient kale pesto pasta because it's so simple. You basically just take raw kale, you blend it up with some garlic, sea salt, olive oil, lemon juice. It's so simple. And toss it with fresh, hot pasta. So you don't even have to cook the sauce. It's all raw ingredients that you process together. And then just toss it with hot pasta. It's delicious.
God, that looks good. Filling, too. I like that.
So what do you normally like to cook and eat? Because I'm so curious.
Okay, so let me see.
What do you eat for breakfast?
I eat, first I drink about 30 ounces of spring water. It's the first thing I do because I hydrate early in the morning.
Yeah.
And then if I'm still hungry, I love field roast and Beyond Meat sausages, so I would make that. But now I got into literally, I got this cashew cheese that I put on my daughter's bagel with heirloom tomatoes, and she likes onions, but I have to cook them for like literally 1 minute. Just make them hot.
Yeah.
And she thinks they're, sauteed, they're whatever. And then I put sea salt, pepper, and balsamic vinaigrette. So we have those sandwiches, because the balsamic vinaigrette, as she said in her book, you put on after, which I was so happy to hear. I don't use oil anymore. I started working with Dr. T. Colin Campbell, and when you're around him, boy, you got to be standing straight. And so I kind of backed off the oil, so I lose a little bit of grapeseed because I'm retarded, and which is not a word to use nowadays. I'm crazy, and maybe a little bit of coconut oil once in a while, and that's what we've been eating lately. I just got.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, and I cooked my greens, which is a trip. I started realizing how hard kale was, so I break it up, I massage it, and I just, like I said, I just give it a little bit of heat because your body your livers and kidneys hard on breaking down kale and spinach. I found that out, so I put that. That's about it. But I drink a lot of spring water.
Really?
Yeah. That's been it. I'm 97 years old. I just drink a bunch of water. Whatever is ranchos. What do we got next? Javios ranchos? Is that how you say it?
All right. I called it no huevos rancheros.
Huevos, yes.
Yeah, it's basically like a breakfast dish. Again, no eggs. I think there's a cashew cheese sauce that I put on top, some black beans, some tofu, fresh cilantro, avocado. This is one that I was testing in New York, and it was really late at night, so I didn't have anyone to try it. So I brought it down to the doorman in my apartment building. I was like, oh, here, do you want to try something? And he was like, this is amazing. What is it? And I told him it was tofu, and he was like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
Nope, you're lying. So this is a really good one to try on people who are not vegans.
Wow. I never knew that's how you hit on the doorman, bring him food.
Oh, no.
I'm going to tell Ben. All right. This one everyone should love. This is banana donut. Yeah. That's a great pitch in the book, too, because you want to just eat that.
Yeah, these are baked banana donuts dipped in a maple icing. So yeah, they're really easy. You don't have to worry about like deep frying in oil because you just stick them in the oven.
And you just bake it.
So this would be good for your diet.
Pretty slick. And the last slide we have is the chocolate strawberry cupcake. Man.
Yeah, this one we're actually serving at my new cafe in Miami, and it's like a bestseller. But yeah, once I was doing a cooking segment on like a local show, and I made a cupcake. And the host, I was like, oh, it was time to taste what I had demoed. So the host took the cupcake, he took the wrapper off, he like broke off the bottom of the cupcake, put it on top of the ice cream like a sandwich, and started eating it like that. And I was like, oh my God, like my cupcakes never looked so ugly. But I was kind of inspired to do something similar where like you put the frosting in between and more cake on top. So something good came out of it.
I think I'm going to steal that idea with a cupcake. That's a guy way of doing it. Okay, so I want to get this point. So in order to go to a restaurant that Chloe has something to do with, we have to go to Miami.
Yes.
We can't we don't go to New York or Los Angeles.
No,
don't give them the money.
Now.
Give the money straight to Crossroads. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty slick. This time it's called Chef Chloe,
yes.
Your restaurant.
Yes.
So what's different in these restaurants than the other two? Because you've learned from the other two.
Yeah, no, I learned so much. This is just like a chance for me to try out some new recipes and really have fun and connect with the community down there and experiment. And I met so many great vegans in Miami and just, brought my whole vegan team out there and we're just having a lot of fun.
Living in Miami, hanging out at Live, that's a nightclub that closes at 6. You know, right? You don't know about it. Cauliflower wings. So you made apricot, sesame, cauliflower wings. Now, a lot of people, Sage is doing it. They even trying it at Veggie Grill. It seems so easy, but I tried to make some cauliflower wings, and they taste like cauliflower with barbecue sauce on it.
No! All right, well, let me say that first. This recipe, my book's only been out for less than a week. It came out on Tuesday, so what's today? Monday. Okay, less than a week. And that's like the #1 recipe people are trying.
Yeah.
All over Instagram and Facebook, like that's what everyone's drawn to. But I think a lot of like places doing cauliflower wings, they put like bottled buffalo sauce on it, but this is a homemade sauce and it's actually a bit sweeter. So I like it. It kind of has like a sweet and spicy situation going on.
See, and this is I'm not trying to catch her. She really did these recipes. Now, I've talked to people who have cookbooks, and they were like, dude, somebody else made the recipes.
Imagine?
Yeah, can you imagine? You, in this book, you spoke on, literally you've gone through it. Now, she's done 3 other books. This is her 4th book. You can buy the books over here at the end, and we got them at a discount. They're for sale for the regular price. You'll figure it out later. You have so many things that look like, or when you look at the pictures, right? You can see these pictures, and these pictures look like things that you would see in any other restaurant, or you would see at a hometown restaurant, or somebody making something. You make it, what I think about your food, you make it where we don't feel at Thanksgiving we're at the small table. You make it where everything can go on the big table.
That's actually how it started for me when I was really young. I decided that I wanted to try going vegan. I made the connection that the animals on our plate were the same animals, that people had as pets, and it didn't make any sense to me. So my mom and I started veganizing some of her recipes, and I remember one Thanksgiving where I was trying to be vegan, but no one else was vegan yet. So her and I worked on a couple little things that were vegan, and then the rest of the Thanksgiving. But then everyone started eating the vegan section, and it was like, no, that's Chloe's food. But everybody wanted it, and I think it just shows that this food is so much wider and more delicious than people assume it is. And if you actually put it in front of them, it's really what we're naturally drawn to.
Yeah, and Thanksgiving, I've been going to this one place, I guess, for 15 years, this family, and now everything except the 2 big pieces of dead flesh, I'm sorry, that's what I call it, the 2 big pieces, no one eats his turkey.
Yeah.
And the ham is no one is eating that.
Yeah.
Because nowadays, kids, my daughters, 2 of them, have never had steak and never had a hamburger.
Wow.
And the 14-year-old, was starting to get upset because everybody wants to go to the mall and eat chili fries and things like that. And the coolest thing is, I walk up on her, And I tell this story all the time. I walk up on her, and she's talking to somebody. They were like, "You don't even eat chicken?" She goes, "It's a bird." She was like, "No, but it's chicken." She goes, "It's a bird." And I was like, "Yes, that's my kid." That's my kid
so
right there.
cute.
Yes, it is. Okay, you even have drinks. So macadamia nut milk. Now, when I go to Hawaii, I can deal with like a day of macadamia nuts.
Okay.
Because they give you tons of macadamia
Yeah.
nut. Is it sweeter than almond milk?
You can sweeten it if you want. Macadamia nut milk, just because it's like a very fatty nut, it's a great one to milk, I guess. But it comes out like you can get this like thick, creamy milk just from macadamia nuts and water. You can add a touch of like maple syrup or agave, or you can leave it unsweetened.
What's your favorite? Is it agave or maple syrup?
Oh, definitely maple. Yeah, pure maple syrup is so good. It's like truly unrefined sugar. I love it.
You see how we got her to not to say agave? See? It was a pro. Now, for all those people who like to drink, blood orange sangria. Sangria is always great. And is there anything different or the same thing? What would make that vegan?
Yeah, I think that sangria could probably be vegan no matter how you spin it. But
No, that's a setup. You have to buy the vegan vine wine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you're putting wine in it, definitely buy the vegan vine wine.
We didn't talk before that, but you got to buy the vegan vine wine to guarantee your sangria is at that point.
Yeah, we served it at my book signings in New York last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ah, I didn't get a check.
Snowstorm, we gave everybody vegan vine wine.
I have a new wine coming out though. It's called I Am, and the reason I named it that because I couldn't think of anything else. So Chloe, in this book, so you obviously to get 4 books, the other 3 books had to be great, and it seemed like you put 3 of the books, all 3 books, similar things. You put desserts, you put main meals, you got some drinks in there. So if you're a vegan or you want to go vegan, this is the only book you have to buy because everyone thinks it's expensive to be vegan, but I just did it on purpose by telling you we make toast, we make pasta, we make sangria, and you can make it in a book. If you make it yourself, it's not expensive. You go to get some organic things that taste better. You're inside the house, you're loving yourself. What else can I say? And the pictures are great. There's great pictures of Chloe in here. And you see she's always smiling, so it's not fake.
Oh.
It's not fake. Do you smile when you get upset, too?
I don't know. No.
You don't know what you look like when you get mad? I was just wondering, because she's always smiling. I would hate to see her pissed off or whatnot.
No, but I was on a red eye the other night coming here, and the flight attendant came up to me, and she's like, "Are you going to visit a friend?" And I was like, no, I don't know, maybe, kind of, no, it's a work trip. And they're like, "Oh, because you just look so happy." And I was like, "I do? I'm sleeping."
Are you going to visit a guy that's making you smile this much? Can we follow you? Okay, so is there anything you want to tell these people about this wonderful book?
Yeah, I'm just so excited to share my new recipes with everyone, and I love when people try stuff and then write me online and say they liked this, or it's better if you add more spice, or tell me kind of like their own spin on the recipe. I think that's really fun, so I encourage you guys to try stuff. Write me at all hours of the day on social media if you have any questions about what you're cooking, and I'll answer you.
I will never say that.
Oh.
That will never come out of my mouth. I don't even answer emails. Okay, yeah. So you can hit me on social media. Sometime I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting better.
I scan for the recipe questions because if someone's like, "Help, did you want, the apple peeled or unpeeled?" It's going in. If I see it, I'll be like, "Peeled."
Oh, so okay, that's a good thing. So what is your favorite apple?
Ooh, Honeycrisp. What about you?
I think it's somebody told me that the one I liked is GMO'd, so I don't know if I can say. Fiji apples? Is that what it's called?
Oh, the Fuji apple, yeah.
Fuji apples? Is that GMO?
Not at Air One.
Not at Air One.
Right,
Good.
everyone at
So,
Air One.
shout out to Air One.
Yeah.
Okay, so why Honeycrisp? Do they cook differently?
They're so sweet and crisp. Honeycrisp. So I just like eating them raw with like almond butter. So good. What's your favorite fruit in general?
Pineapple.
Oh, that's a good
Mango.
one.
I think it's mango. Yeah,
Mango's
I think it's mango. I had at the food expo, this company gave me dried dried mango, and you know they throw so much stuff, and I took it, and it was in the car. I said, let me try this mango, and seriously, I think it's mango. Yeah, I got to go
So
back
you
to
have
mango.
to try in the book. I have a mango guacamole crunch burger.
Really? How did I miss that?
You'll like that one.
How did I miss that? I didn't see that. I'm going to try it. Now, see, this deal is I'm going to be bothering you on social media going, my stuff doesn't look like
You
yours.
said you can do it.
I know.
So I'll be there for you.
All right. Anybody have any wonderful, intelligent questions?
If you have a question, why don't you come over here to the microphone so we get it on camera?
Oh, I got another question.
Okay.
Do you make all your own cheese, or is there any other cheeses you like?
I do make my own cheese. Yeah, I just love making it from scratch and kind of knowing what's in it. But I also, there's some great vegan cheeses on the market right now. I have some favorites, but what are your favorites?
My favorite was this company called VioLife. And then, you want me to shout you out? And one of my friends in the audience, she makes a really good cheese. And
Oh,
see how I hook it up? I saw you. But I think when you're making cheese, I just told this to everybody that talks about going vegan, the thing that they say they miss is cheese.
yeah.
And I go, well, we still got cheese. We just don't use bovine fluid. I'm sorry. We don't use cow milk. And that's the way I put it. I said, we just use things that your body can digest and not give you breast.
Totally. I love Miyoko's Kitchen. Have you tried that one?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
actually paired that with your wine at the signing. It was a hit combo.
This girl knows how to get to my heart. Okay, so wait, there's one more thing before you get to that question. Chocolate chips. Now, there's a lot of people trying to make cookies vegan. And a lot of them come out like with too much oil in the middle of it, and the chocolate is whack. Tell me about your chocolate chip cookies. I'll show a picture of it.
Yeah, I have a sea salt chocolate chunk cookie in there. I'm also selling that at my cafe in Miami, and it's a bestseller. It's all about getting really good quality dark chocolate. So I like to use big chocolate chunks, and if you can't find like chips at your local grocery store that are good quality and vegan, because sometimes that's tough, buy like a really good bar of dark chocolate and just chop it up with a knife. That's a good way to get a lot of chocolate in your cookies.
And I see one pizza. Is it one pizza in here? Because I'm big. Yeah, I do. I told you, I got up, it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and I knew he was going to be like, did you read the whole book? Which he knew I was going to read the whole book. And yeah, you got some stuff that I cannot wait to steal. I mean,
lots
cook.
of good comfort food.
If I wanted to be in the restaurant business, they'd be like, man, this tastes like Chloe's. No, it doesn't. Yeah, she has literally, okay, this is one that I'm getting used to, quinoa.
Yeah.
Now, it comes in all different forms. And I remember having one that seemed like it had a little hair on it. I didn't like that. The little red, the smaller red ones. I like the bigger one. And there's a company that literally has quinoa now. It's kind of crisp, and it's like you can just eat them like potato chips or like peas. It's pretty slick. And it's a superfood.
Quinoa, that sounds good.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait to steal some of your restaurants and make all that. Well, that's it. Okay. Anybody have any questions for Chloe? Intelligent, good questions? Go ahead. Think of it.
You're the first.
Do you use organic ingredients?
Organic. Yeah, organic ingredients are great. I definitely encourage people to use them where they can find them. You don't have to shop organic to cook the recipes from the cookbook, but you can. I know for me, like when I'm sourcing for my cafe or cooking at home, if organic is an option, I'll buy it, but also just shopping local if I know the grower, I feel more comfortable purchasing it.
Thank you for coming late. See? When you got here, you were right on time. Don't worry about it. Any other questions?
Do you do a lot of baking, John?
Me?
Yeah.
Um,
I know you got your bagel surprise.
I don't know if I should go with that word. I wake and bake. Let me think. Trust me, it took me 5 minutes to say the joke. So my daughter Tyler, who doesn't like cooking, likes to bake because she says I don't bake. But I do. Now, my mom's made these unbelievable biscuits, and they were made with everything wrong, and we try to make everything right. But when we saw, like when you were talking about a different flour, and you talked about using certain oils in place of butter and how you use it, she says, I like using almond milk in place of all the other milks. I just got to get, I guess, a milk because my biscuits came out really whack.
Okay, you have to try the biscuits in here, seriously.
Biscuits with shallots in them.
Scallions. Yes. Wow, seriously though, you get an A+ on this.
Thank you.
Of anyone that I've met, it's really impressive. Yeah, the biscuits in there. I actually made them when I went on Trisha Yearwood's cooking show to be her guest, and she has a southern cooking show where she uses a ton of butter and non-vegan ingredients. We did a vegan episode. And the biscuits totally passed the Southern Cook taste test. She loved them. She was like, we should always make our biscuits like this. And they're really easy. They're 4 or 5 ingredients.
Good. So when I do it,
put them in a rotation.
So I'm going to start putting stuff on Instagram about the foods I make. I had Jane Village Mitchell at my house, so it was a really fast interview and it was very loud. Which is not a knock on my girl, but we got it going. And I literally told her when she comes back, I'm going to cook something. Now, I do like cobblers, and I love ice cream. I've been finding a lot of really cool ice creams, too. My favorite is Nanamu. If you know, it's at Whole Foods. You got to find it. Out of all of the ice creams. And I can literally say that because I'm not getting paid by anybody when I say this stuff, but I've tasted just about everything that people are making that's vegan. And kind of the reason I'm doing it is I want to push the idea, push the culture, push the mentality about saving animals and saving yourself at the same time. That's kind of how I describe it. But when I look at recipes like this, and I usually cook Thanksgiving if I don't go to that house and piss them off. Oh, the house I go to for 20 years. When we went there, we bought our food and ate. We go there now, all of our food is eaten. Every single piece of it. And it's separated too. It says vegan section, non-vegan section. They get to take a lot of their stuff home. I just take back dishes. So it definitely works.
Wow, yay.
Got a question?
So as someone who's made so many different recipes, what's your process for your ideation?
Process for making recipes.
Yeah, for just coming up with something new.
Yeah, it's really involved a ton of testing, a ton of trial and error. When I was growing up, I liked chemistry as a school subject. It's kind of similar, where you're just trying things. You have to control for one variable at a time every single time you make it. So sometimes I'm tempted to change a few things, but then you don't know what was responsible for your results. So I like to surround myself with lots of good taste testers who'll be very honest with their feedback. Ben's very honest. Sometimes I have groups of friends and they're all like, this is delicious. And I'm like, no, you're not coming back because that wasn't helpful. I want to know what's wrong with it. But yeah, lots of testing. And I tell people that I really think it's all about confidence. If you love to eat, you'll love to cook. Trust your instincts on what kind of flavors you want to put together, different combinations you want to try. And if you start playing around enough, you'll probably land on something great. Sometimes for us, some of our best dishes come from horrible mistakes.
Wow. So does Ben tell you he likes it with a burp or passing gas? Which? That was a good one, baby. Why'd I say that? I don't know. Can't take it back now.
Hi. What kind of pasta do you recommend, or is it wheat, or do you have alternatives to different pasta do you use?
Pasta, and I want to hear your answer to this too. I bet we have different answers. So I grew up with Italian background, so I do love traditional wheat pasta, whether it's homemade or just dried that you buy at the grocery store. So sometimes if I'm cooking for people that aren't vegan, I'll lean towards that. But if I'm cooking for a more open-minded crowd, I love using like all the different kind of noodles on the market now, like red lentil pasta, black bean pasta, chickpea pasta is awesome. I also love kelp noodles. I don't know if any of you guys cook with kelp noodles, but I have a recipe in this book for cheesy kelp noodles, and they're so good, and it honestly tastes like delicious angel hair pasta. But it's, I think for a bag of kelp noodles, it's like 18 calories for the entire bag, which is crazy. So I tell people it's like eating air, and it's so good. Those are probably all my favorite noodles. But what's your favorite noodle, John?
Okay, so they bought me the smelt pasta.
What?
Is it called smelt?
Oh, spelt
Smelt.
pasta.
It's smelt.
Smelt pasta.
I didn't like. I'm like you. I like as long as there's no egg in it. If it's not egg pasta,
Yeah.
I like it. I tried the kelp.
And?
Yeah. So I like any pasta that. Well, I try the kelp. I've had it some places, and sometimes it's too greeny.
Sometimes it's too crunchy, too.
Yeah.
I like it when it's really soft, like real pasta.
Right. And that's my deal. When I'm eating pasta, my brain sees pasta. Like when I saw that pasta you made, my brain already knows what it's going to feel like in my mouth and what I want it to taste like. And so if I see a creamy sauce, or I see you got a vodka in here,
Yes.
sauce in here too. Sriracha vodka or something? Spicy vodka.
Rigatoni vodka.
Yeah. And then when she said, yeah, use real vodka, I was like, wow. And it burns off when you cook with it. I stole that one too. I just like regular pie. I grew up in an Italian Jewish neighborhood. That doesn't mean anything. That just means I got chased a lot. But I love Italian food. Like that, I made a lasagna one time, and it came out really, really, really good. Once. The second time, it was really, really whack.
What?
Yeah, because I don't get to try as many recipes as you. And I got this thing about being a man, not writing things down or asking for directions. So I don't remember what I did. But when I that's a shot against men because, of the new movement. I'm joining the women's side. They're getting all the jobs. I really got that in my mind, like if I can write things down. Like my mom's had this really good, and I say that my mother was a caterer when I was growing up. So I'm a catering kid. So I'm the kid that put plates down in front of people. So I got to watch her cook, and I got to cut a lot of potatoes and onions because I wasn't allowed to touch anything else. But I'm really good at cutting those things. And then the trip, I started cooking again after 20 years. It's just like, my wife didn't know I cooked for 13 years.
And I wonder if it's the same for you as it was for me. Like, when you became vegan, is that when you really became interested in cooking? Because I just wasn't that interested before I was vegan because, I don't know, I was just, why did I need to cook? And then once I went vegan, I was like, this is so much fun, all these cool things to try that people haven't tried before.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this again, it's inexpensive to cook at home. And everybody is telling me how expensive it is. It's not. I go buy, my favorite potato is a New Jersey sweet potato. And the reason I like the Jersey sweet potato is because it has a buttery feel without butter. And when I do have a potato. And then I like heirloom tomatoes, so I have to live in California. I can't live anywhere else. I tried, but there's no tomatoes, so I can't live there. But I like putting it together, and on Sundays I go shopping. I spend $80 guaranteed on a Sunday, and we have food until Thursday.
Wow.
And I go shopping on Wednesday at this farmer's market in Santa Monica until Sunday when I'm in town. Yeah. So literally it's $160 a week, and I cook breakfast and dinner.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's really amazing.
My wife is a lucky lady. So lucky. I don't know where that came from, but yeah. But she'll say, man, I love when you cook, thanks. And That just means she doesn't have to, but that's a
Sweet.
good thing, yeah. All right, go ahead, what's your question?
Hi.
Hi.
I was curious what kind of like weird kitchen gadget that you use all the time that you would recommend that like normal cooks get.
I know what she's gonna say. You said weird?
Yeah, weird.
Oh.
Like a dehydrator or like what's the thing that's like not that common that you use a lot that you think?
Well, I can't think of anything weird, but I have like weird obsessions with things that aren't weird.
That works.
Okay, probably if I had to pick, like if I was stranded on an island and I can only bring one kitchen tool, what would I bring?
Vitamix.
Yes. Yes.
That's
I
like-
was gonna try to like be a little bit, go a little bit different than that. But yes,
Which one?
Obviously, the Vitamix is your number one.
If you see vegans running from an earthquake, they're holding the Vitamix.
Oh,
I can't leave it, I waited too
I've
long.
flown on planes with my Vitamix, like the way people bring their pets on the plane. I'm like, can I have a little extra room? But I do love a mini offset spatula. Some people think that they could just use like a spoon or a knife to spread things, but you really need that angle of a mini offset to get that right wrist motion. So it's great for frosting cupcakes, spreading avocado toast. I actually usually have one in my purse.
Yeah. I like a ceramic knife. I don't know why.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I don't know why. I couldn't tell you why. But I take the rest of the knives that get sharpened, and then the guy was like, I found one guy to sharpen a ceramic knife. I just like it. And I don't know, because it looks different, it just feels different, I don't know. That's the one thing I like. But then there's a machine that's like a Vitamix that's called nut milk. And it takes, and you can make you can make all your nut milks and nut butters with just one machine. You can just put it in, push the button, add water, and then it's going to stop when it gets to the point. It's a pretty good machine.
I've heard of that, but I haven't tried it yet.
Oh yeah, I got one in the house. Pretty
Really?
slick. Yeah. And then
How long does it take?
it takes about 30 minutes to make your milk.
Wow.
So while you're brushing your teeth with your activated charcoal, you can. I saw so many things at the Natural Food Expo that I would never ever think you could make things out of. But it was at least 50 more vegan products than normal. And in the new product section, everything was gluten-free and vegan. Like they are pushing that agenda, which is a great thing for us to eat. Yeah. Question?
I wanted to find out what are your aspirations as an entrepreneur? You have the cookbooks and you have the new cafe. What do you dream for your business?
What do I dream for my business? I dream of a more vegan world, always. And so I'm always just looking for new opportunities to spread veganism far and wide, be able to expose new groups of people to it, show people that they don't have to give up, delicious, exciting food and flavors to, eat this way. As an entrepreneur, it's challenging because the thing, and I'm sure you can relate, is when you're doing something that's different or you're an entrepreneur, you're on your own path, you're not following a path that's paved. So I think that can be the most frustrating part is I can't really see what's down the road the way somebody who's following a more traditional path can. And I think that's what makes it really scary and challenging and hard, but also makes it exciting. I saw a quote recently that said, don't ask anyone for directions. Okay, now I'm butchering it. It was something to the effect of like, don't ask people for advice if they haven't been down your path. And it's true because you get a lot of input and advice and people telling you what to do, but when you're doing something that's never been done before, kind of got to just figure it out as it comes, right?
You can't make any mistakes. There's no such thing as mistakes if there's nobody ever trailed that blazed that trail.
Right.
Everybody would, I guess, good question. Everybody would start thinking maybe you should be on television. But I see the problem with being on television is, you go, we'll be right back in a second, and then you hear a commercial, dun 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 dun, like you would have a McDonald's or Kentucky Fried Chicken, which goes against what we're saying when you go on TV. So maybe you should think about doing something digital.
Yeah?
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll hook it up. Yeah.
That's a great idea. Great idea.
A good
Are
idea.
you an entrepreneur as well? What do you do?
We have a restaurant.
Oh my gosh, what restaurant?
It's a restaurant called Upbeat.
What's it called?
Upbeat,
Upbeat.
spelled B-E-E-T.
Oh, that's so cute. Where is it?
It's in Atlanta.
Oh my gosh, no way. That's awesome. I'll definitely check it out.
Thank you. And I had one quick follow-up question, actually, for both of you. We were actually at the Expo West this weekend as well, and one thing I'm trying to figure out is there's so many subcategories to vegan now. So, you mentioned earlier you don't use a lot of oils. There's the gluten-free part of it. There's the whole food, plant-based. There's the kind of junk food side of it. Do you personally, what are your thoughts on the different subgenres of vegan?
I'll go first. I think everything is amazing because I think, in order for the entire world to go vegan, there's so many different individuals with so many different preferences. So the more companies and products and services that cater to all different ways of doing it, I think is great. I think from like an entrepreneurial perspective, it can be overwhelming when you see so much out there and you're like, well, where does what I'm doing fit into this equation, or everyone's adding this to their product. Should I be going in this direction or that direction? So I think my advice to people on the business side of it is to really just follow your own gut, your own intuition, do what you do best, and that will definitely speak to someone. I think where we can all kind of get into trouble if everyone tries to start kind of copying each other in terms of wanting to provide the same product. And I think it's really amazing when people put their own spin on veganism and do what they do best and where they shine.
I like it all. My deal is if no animals are dying,
Yep.
perfect, right? So you can, I told her Marco, who has 22 days, and he also trains Beyonce and all the rest of those people, and he has a great book, and he's plant-based, and he is, not using any of the frankenfoods, as he would call it, which I get. But if you want variation and you want literally to bring people over to not feeling that they have to consume an animal, but they still want that taste and that feel, that they should be able to go get the Impossible Burger, the Incredible Burger, that's at Connie's and at Craig's and at Crossroads. It's gluten-free, non-GMO, so I'll hit you with that. But then Beyond Meat has bratwurst now, and Field Roast has Italian sausage, and it's made out of vegetables. So I can't really, I believe in all of it. The reason I don't use all the oils, one, I'm taller, I'm older, and a lot of oils get caught in your veins and in your arteries, and I just didn't want that there. But I agree with what she said, and I like, my favorite restaurant in Anaheim is Healthy Junk. I like Sage, Lotus, Foray. I like Doomy's. I don't go as much, but I saw Doomy there the other day too. And I, at one time, went to everybody's restaurant if it was vegan. They got my money. I didn't take anything free. Yeah, I paid $112 for breakfast. No, it's so funny. I told Moby, I said, we're friends, man. Why do I pay to go to your restaurant? He said, I'm trying to keep it open. So I was like, oh, yeah. So I just love that. I like that all those different subs. It's like Coke, Diet Coke, Cherry Coke. As long as you have variations, it's cool.
What are your favorite restaurants besides yours?
I love a lot of the ones you mentioned. Flore is the best.
Yeah.
I was saying tomorrow I wanted to try Sun Cafe, which I haven't been to yet, but I love Cafe Gratitude. I love Crossroads. I'm sure we all go to all the same
Sun
places.
Cafe.
Yeah.
Sun Cafe you get the kale shake,
Okay.
and you get the, you going for lunch?
I was gonna go for like lunch at like 3 p.m. or something.
Oh, then you get the lettuce tacos.
Okay.
And what am I leaving out? The nachos. What's it
Nachos?
called? Oh my God. Yeah, he got this big nacho, and he has this other thing. I can't believe I forgot the name of it right here on stage. I've been going there since Rashid was cooking, and then
Okay.
Rashid left, and it was Sun Power Cafe. But
Yeah.
it's really
I
it's
tried
worth
it years ago, but I know they moved and
Yeah.
revamped, so I really want to
Yeah.
check that out.
The sushi, shojin.
Trojan, that one's so good.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I haven't been to the new location, but I heard it's amazing.
#1 sushi restaurant in San Francisco is vegan. That was a cool thing. When I went up there, it was a #1 sushi restaurant, and there was no fish in it. That was a cool thing.
Wow.
Yeah. Hippies? Kippies. No, I didn't.
Where? Oh my gosh.
What's the other one on Franklin?
Really?
On Franklin.
Excuse me,
Okay.
why don't you come up here and ask the
Okay.
question so we record it?
Oh,
Jazz. Go.
you're getting in
Okay, the
trouble.
next question?
I'm getting the impression from your talk that your only cafe now is in Miami?
Yes.
So the one in New York is closed?
Which one in New York?
She had a great cafe in New York where they had great ice cream.
It was so in the past. So in 2017.
Yeah, my investor took it from me, so I started my own cafe in Miami.
And the one here in Silver Lake is gone also?
I'm not presently a part of it, but I created all the recipes.
Okay, and
Yeah.
do you have any plans to open anything here in LA?
I would love to, maybe soon. Yeah.
Preferably in the South Bay, if you
Okay. Noted. Thank you.
What is your advice to a vegan that doesn't cook?
Cook.
Come on over to my house.
Oh. What is my advice to a vegan that doesn't cook?
I have some advice. Cook! It's
Yeah.
so fun. And honestly, the recipes in the book are so easy. When I hear people say can't cook, I'm like, it's just not true. I don't believe it.
I met one person.
You did? Who?
She burned water.
She burned the water.
Her water just didn't boil, it just burnt. Yeah. But what would you do? I would send you to a raw restaurant first, just so get you back to liking food and chewing. But so many spots to go to. Where do you live?
I live in West LA.
Oh, you got so much.
Yeah.
But I will also say, like, you don't have to be a hero in the kitchen every single night. Because sometimes you have to take shortcuts. And I know for me, even though I'm a chef, I still come home just like everybody else, and I'm busy and I'm tired and somebody's hungry and I need to put food on the table. And so I think that, I like to really be honest in my books with tips that you can and should take. So for example, like sometimes it's best to sweat an eggplant, which is where you salt it, you let the water release, you wait 15 minutes, you wipe it. But I know when I'm cooking for myself, I'm just gonna skip it. Even if I'm supposed to do it, I'm probably not gonna do it. So I like to be really upfront, like, yeah, you could sweat the eggplant, but I usually don't, or buy pre-chopped veggies. Even if you go to Whole Foods, you can buy delicious vegan sauces, like a peanut sauce. All you have to do is maybe cook like a soba noodle and toss it together. So I would say don't feel like you need to milk your own nuts and like do everything, because it can be really intimidating. And now, thanks to all the amazing vegan innovators, as you saw at the expo, there's so many products that like get you halfway there. So don't be ashamed to go that route, because I do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question about cauliflower pizza. I've taken a liking to trying cauliflower pizza, and a couple of them I felt tasted like pizza. They folded the way I kind of like my pizza to fold. And one of them just was like it was trying too hard. So what's missing from some of them? It just fell apart. It was
The crust or the topping?
the crust.
Crust. Yeah, some people are making pizza crust out of cauliflower. I have to admit, I focus more on like the cheese and the dairy meat toppings that are really fun to reinvent vegan style. So I usually don't mind making like a regular crust. You can also buy pre-made dough at Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, which is an awesome way to like make homemade pizza really fast. But yeah, I'm not sure what recipe you follow, but I could definitely take a look at it afterwards. See what went wrong.
Or get a better pizzeria.
Hi, I have a quick question. I hope it's intelligent enough. So there are so many products that's naturally vegan or vegetarian friendly, but then there are also products that's made to be vegan and vegetarian friendly. So I was wondering if you have any, your philosophy or approach when it comes to selecting ingredients for your recipes.
Okay.
Like vegetables, tofu and things like that, those are already naturally vegan. But there are also a lot of products that's made to be vegan or vegetarian friendly. I'm just wondering.
I don't know. Because I kind of got the question. So explain it a little different.
Like, I was at the expo too, so I saw a lot of product that's made, using a lot of different types of ingredients to be vegan friendly. But then there are products like whether that's vegetables or like tofu or I'm just kind of thinking that they are really naturally vegan.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure, like, when you develop new recipes, if you have such an approach to use those things. Like cheese, we didn't have vegan cheese a long time ago, but now we do have those options, right? Things like that.
So what she's saying is, like there's a company that I'm meeting with tomorrow called Wayward, I think, and they made everything that we don't think about. They made sour cream, they made cinnamon butter, they made pudding. And the crazy thing is, they made Wayfair, it's called. It's made out of artichoke and lima beans. And it was unbelievable. I was with Leslie Dorso, Leslie? Yeah. And we just got a spoon and was like eating what most people would think would be butter that you would put on things. So what she's saying is, there's a lot of companies that make frankenfood. It's made for vegan, but we don't know in 10 years what, some of these chemicals that I've never seen the name of.
I see.
And that's what she's saying. So yeah, in her book, she uses the traditional vegetables, seeds, nuts, fruits, and legumes. She's not really telling you to use anything else. She makes tempeh and seitan, but it's obviously a wheat gluten. But I say to people that don't eat soy, I think fermented soy is different, and I think they've been eating soy for 9,000 years in Asia. And there's a lot of them. It obviously doesn't stop growth, birth rate, as they say. And I think the reason a lot of people who say things about soy is because we don't grow it here in America. We do, but not for our consumption. Same thing with coconuts. Like I was on Dr. Oz, not bragging, but I was on Oz. I had to say that because it seemed like I was like, well, I was on Oz. No, I was on Oz and I said, yo, we should talk about coconut oil. And he was like, nah, my guys say that saturated fat is not good. And I said, you need to get some new doctors. And 5 years later, he talks about coconut oil, and how good the saturated fat is. So a lot of people are caught with what they were taught. And I tell people about doctors, they practice medicine. We eat it. So it's a difference. So I answered that, and I answered that.
Yeah, nice.
Damn. Any more intelligent questions? All right, well, you can get this book signed by me for $35. You can get it signed by her for $30. If I were you, I'd go with the less. Everybody, please give it up for Chef Chloe.